7 signs you're protected by higher beings for a reason, and what that reason truly is. There are moments in life that feel unexplainable. Times when things should have gone terribly wrong, but didn't. Times when you were about to give up, but something invisible held you together. Times when you felt completely alone, and yet something was watching, something was guiding. If you've ever felt like life has saved you from something you didn't even see coming, it's not your imagination. It's not coincidence. It's protection. And that protection isn't random. It's deliberate. It's sacred. It means you are being watched over by higher beings, entities, energies, ancestors, or celestial forces that see the full blueprint of your life, even when you can't. And they are not protecting you for no reason. They are protecting you for a purpose. You are still here because your story isn't finished. And the more we awaken to the signs of this divine protection, the more we understand who we truly are and why we're here. The first sign is subtle but powerful. You've survived things that should have destroyed you. Really pause for a second and reflect on your life. Look at the heartbreaks, the accidents, the moments where you were hanging by a thread. There were times when logic said you wouldn't make it, when statistics weren't on your side, when even you thought, this is it, I'm done. And yet you're still here, not by chance, but because something intervened. Maybe you don't remember how you made it through. Maybe you blacked out in the chaos. But the fact that you're breathing right now means you were shielded. There's a reason your soul was kept intact through it all. Some part of the universe said, not yet. This one still has work to do. So ask yourself, what if the most painful moments of your life were actually proof that you're being protected for something greater? What if survival isn't the end, but the beginning of your real purpose? The second sign is this. You often feel guided even when you don't know why. You make a decision that doesn't make sense on paper, but it leads you to the right person. You take a wrong turn that puts you in the right place. You leave a relationship without a logical reason, only to realize months later that it saved your life. This isn't luck. This is synchronicity. This is divine intelligence working through your intuition. Higher beings don't always speak in words. They speak in nudges, in gut feelings, in weird dreams that won't go away, in coincidences that start to feel too perfect. And the more you follow these signs, the more your path seems to open like a flower blooming in slow motion. You begin to realize you're not just walking through life, you're being led. So I ask you now, when was the last time you listened to a voice inside you that had no logic, only truth? And what happened when you followed it, even when it made no sense at the time? The third sign is one most people overlook. You've been protected from things you wanted but didn't get. That job you didn't land, that relationship that ended, that opportunity that slipped through your fingers. At the time, it felt like rejection, loss, even betrayal. But now, looking back, can you see that it was actually redirection? That you were being spared from something you didn't have the perspective to understand yet? Higher beings aren't here to give you what your ego wants. They're here to align you with what your soul needs. And that often means taking things away. Not to punish you, but to protect you from delays, from illusions, from paths that would have taken you away from your calling. And sometimes the most sacred protection comes dressed as pain, because pain slows us down. It forces us to listen, to reroute. So ask yourself, what if every unanswered prayer was actually an answered one in disguise? What if the universe has been saying not this, only because something better, truer in yours is still forming? The fourth sign is this. You've had moments where time seemed to pause, where it felt like something intervened in real time. Maybe you were seconds away from an accident and something delayed you. Maybe you felt an invisible hand pulling you out of a toxic place. Maybe you heard a voice clear as day, telling you to stop, turn, speak, or go. These are not hallucinations. These are divine interruptions. They happen when your timeline is about to fracture, when you're at a crossroads that could shift everything. And in those moments, higher beings step in, not always physically, but energetically. They rearrange the path. They manipulate time. They whisper messages into your subconscious so subtly your conscious mind can't even comprehend it. And yet, you feel it. You sense the shift. You look back and realize, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be alive. So I'll ask you something only you can answer. Have you ever felt time slow down, like something beyond you was orchestrating the moment? What if that wasn't a glitch, but guidance? The fifth sign is deeply emotional. You've experienced comfort in moments where no one else was there. You were crying in silence. You were at your lowest, and yet, somehow a wave of peace came over you. You felt held, as if invisible arms wrapped around your soul. This is not just self-talk. This is presence, divine presence. Sometimes it's your ancestors. Sometimes it's your spirit guides. Sometimes it's Source itself. But when you feel warmth in the cold, when you feel light in the darkness, when you feel loved in your loneliness, that is not your imagination. That's protection. That's a reminder that even in your isolation, you are not alone. There are beings assigned to you who walk with you through every valley, who remind you without words that your pain is not the end. These beings don't need your belief to be real, but your belief opens the channel for deeper connection. So ask yourself now with an open heart, what if the comfort you felt during your darkest nights was a sign that light has never left you? What if someone or something was right there with you all along? The sixth sign is a pattern you may not have noticed until now. Your life keeps circling back to your purpose, even when you try to run from it. You try to live a normal life, but something always pulls you back. You try to ignore your gifts, but they haunt you. You try to quiet your voice, but life keeps giving you a microphone. This is not a coincidence. It's a calling. And higher beings are fiercely protective of those with a mission. They will block paths that dilute your power. They will shake relationships that dim your light. They will create discomfort every time you abandon your assignment, not to punish you, but to wake you up, because your life is not random. Your existence is not an accident. You were sent here with something only you can create, speak, heal, or awaken. And the more you resist, the louder the reminders become. So I ask you now, what if the resistance you feel in your safe path is the universe screaming this is not your destiny? And what if your true path has been protected all along, waiting for you to finally say yes? The seventh and final sign is the most beautiful of all. You carry a deep sense that you're being prepared for something bigger than you. You can't explain it, but it's there. This quiet knowing that your life is part of something vast, sacred, cosmic, that even your struggles are sculpting you for impact, that your healing isn't just for you, but for the many who will rise through your story. This knowing is not ego. It's remembrance. It's your soul recognizing the role it came to play. And when higher beings see someone with this awareness, they mobilize, they protect, they guide, they test, they strip away distractions. They refine your character, not for comfort, but for capacity, because they know what's coming. They know who you're becoming, and they know the world will need your medicine when the time comes. So I leave you with this. What if every delay, every heartbreak, every spiritual protection you've received was not a detour, but training? What if your life is a vessel being prepared to carry light into places only you can reach? The sacred assignment, why you were protected, what you're meant to do, and how to awaken it fully. When we begin to recognize that we're not just lucky to be alive, but chosen to be here, everything changes. The protection wasn't random. It was intentional. You were sheltered from what could have broken you because your soul made a promise. Not to a person, not even to the universe, but to life itself. A sacred agreement that said, I will return to Earth in this timeline, in this body, in this chaos, and I will remember who I am. I will awaken, I will rise, and I will serve. That's why you were protected. Because your very existence is a living bridge between the invisible and the visible. You are here to bring light into places where it has been forgotten. But here's the catch, protection is not a reward, it's a responsibility. You are still here because there's a sacred assignment coded into your being, and the time for remembering it is now. You don't need to be a monk on a mountain or a healer in a jungle to have a sacred assignment. You just need to be honest about what calls to you, scares you, and won't leave you alone. That's usually where your assignment lives, in the places you keep trying to silence, in the gifts you've buried, in the truths you've softened to be more palatable. You've been protected because the world needs your rawness, not your edited version. The higher beings around you don't want you to be perfect. They want you to be real. Because it's only through authenticity that you unlock the power you were born with. That's when the assignment activates, not when you're ready, but when you're willing. Willing to say yes to the pull in your chest, to the fire in your belly, to the whispers in your dreams. So let me ask you something that may shake you. What truth inside you have you been too afraid to speak? Because deep down you know it would change everything. And what if that truth is your sacred assignment? Many people ask, how do I find my purpose? But that's the wrong question. You don't find your purpose. You remember it. It's never been lost. It's been layered over by fear, shame, cultural conditioning, and unworthiness. The path to your purpose is not out there. It's inward. It's in the places you've avoided, the wounds you haven't looked at, the gifts you've doubted. That's why your healing is not separate from your purpose. It is your purpose. Every time you step into your own liberation, you create a blueprint for someone else to follow. You become a living map, and the higher beings that protect you, they know the ripple effect your healing will create. They see the timeline split every time you choose truth over comfort. That's why they haven't let you fall. That's why you're still being guided, even when you feel lost. So I ask you with full presence, what parts of yourself have you been avoiding that are actually the keys to your assignment? And what would happen if you finally stopped running from them? Let's talk about fear. Real, soul-shaking fear. Because the closer you get to your assignment, the louder resistance becomes. That's not failure. That's confirmation. The fear isn't telling you stop, it's telling you you're getting close. Higher beings don't remove fear from your path. They walk with you through it. They whisper courage into your chest when your voice shakes. They give you just enough clarity to take the next step, not the whole map, just enough. Why? Because your faith is the activation key. Your willingness to move without a guarantee is what unlocks the next layer of your assignment. This is how your destiny unfolds, step by step, fear by fear, initiation by initiation. You don't awaken your calling by avoiding fear. You awaken it by walking into it with sacred rebellion. So ask yourself now, what if fear isn't a sign to retreat, but a signal that you're standing at the gates of your true path? What if everything you want is on the other side of the very thing you've been avoiding? We live in a world that glorifies safety, comfort, control. But sacred assignments aren't born in comfort. They emerge in chaos, in breakdowns, in the moments when your life falls apart, not because you did anything wrong, but because something deeper wants to be rebuilt. Higher beings often allow destruction in your life, not to punish you, but to clear the space. Because what's coming can't be built on shaky ground. Your relationships, your identity, your career, sometimes they all have to dissolve so you can finally hear your soul without interference. That's why the pain was protected too. It was a portal. And now, the question becomes, will you keep trying to rebuild the old version of you, or will you finally surrender to the becoming that your soul has been begging for? What if your breakdown was the most sacred doorway of all? There's something else you need to understand, and it's crucial. You are not meant to do this alone. Yes, the inner work is yours. Yes, the path is yours, but the support is divine. There are beings around you right now waiting for permission to guide you more deeply. But they won't override your will. You must invite them in. Through silence, through prayer, through presence, through intention. Talk to them. Ask them to reveal your next step. Ask them to align your path. Ask them to remove what no longer serves. And 10, listen. The signs will come. Not always in words, but in synchronicities, in dreams, in feelings, in sudden clarity. You are never alone. You've never been alone. But you must drop the illusion of separation to receive the full transmission. So I ask you, humbly and directly, when was the last time you asked for help, not from people, but from presence? And what would happen if you truly believed you were surrounded by divine intelligence at all times? Finally, we must talk about devotion. Because once you awaken your sacred assignment, it's not enough to recognize it. You must live it. And living it requires discipline, not the rigid kind, but the sacred kind. Discipline that says, I will show up for this path even when it's hard, even when I'm tired, even when no one claps for me. Because the assignment isn't about glory, it's about integrity. It's about becoming the version of you that your soul can finally trust with power. That's why the protection hasn't stopped. That's why the guidance keeps coming. Because you're not just here to exist. You're here to embody truth. To live as a portal. To walk like your life is the prayer, and your presence is the proof. So now I leave you with this. What would your life look like if you stopped dipping your toe in your purpose and cannonballed into it with everything you've got? What would happen if you became unshakable in your devotion to your assignment? The chosen frequency, how to maintain divine protection and become an anchor of light in a collapsing world. We are living in a time of rapid unraveling. Systems are breaking down. Truth is being distorted. Souls are either awakening or falling deeper into unconsciousness. In this chaos, it's easy to forget who we are, to feel like we're just one small light in a sea of darkness. But if you've been protected, guided, and preserved through everything, it's not so you can hide. It's because you are meant to hold frequency when the world forgets. You are not just here to survive this time, you are here to anchor light in the middle of it. That light is not just positivity. It's truth, it's presence, it's grounded, embodied love. And to hold that light, you must stay aligned with the same frequency that invited divine protection into your life in the first place. That frequency is coherence. When your thoughts, words, emotions, and actions are in alignment with your truth, You become a tuning fork for the divine. You become a signal in the chaos, a lighthouse for others, a living reminder that heaven has never left earth. It simply waits for us to remember we are its vessels. But holding that frequency isn't passive. It requires conscious choice daily. You are constantly exposed to energies that want to dilute you, news cycles that feed fear, social media that feeds comparison, environments that feed disconnection. If you don't protect your field, you start leaking your frequency without even realizing it. That's why divine protection must be reciprocated. Higher beings can shield you, but you must also anchor yourself. This means returning to your rituals constantly. It means breath work when the anxiety hits, silence when your mind spirals, nature when technology overwhelms. It means choosing depth over distraction, truth over trend. And most of all, it means catching yourself the moment you start abandoning yourself again. Because every time you betray your truth to fit into the noise, you dim the light you were protected to embody. So I ask you, what daily habits are subtly pulling you out of alignment with your truth? And what would it look like to build your day around frequency maintenance, not just productivity? In this collapsing world, the most radical thing you can do is stay clear. Clarity is power, not the kind that dominates, but the kind that illuminates. And clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from alignment. When you're aligned, decisions become simpler. Boundaries become cleaner. Your yes is full. Your no is sacred. And most of all, your energy becomes unmistakable. People feel it. They may not know why they're drawn to you, but they'll say things like, "You feel safe. You feel real. You remind me of something I forgot." That's not charisma. That's coherence. That's the frequency of someone who has remembered who they are. And the world is starving for that. Not more noise, not more performance, but presence. So I ask you now, where in your life are you confusing clarity with control? What would it feel like to stop trying to fix everything and instead become so clear within yourself that life naturally aligns around you? Let's talk about impact, because whether or not you realize it, you are already impacting the world. Every thought you think, every emotion you hold, every action you take, it radiates. Frequency is not personal, it's planetary. When you heal, you don't just heal yourself. You heal your lineage. You alter timelines. You send a vibration that others can feel even if they don't understand it. That's why your inner work is not selfish, it's service. Every time you choose to stay present instead of dissociating, you anchor more consciousness into the collective field. Every time you choose compassion over judgment, even silently, you ripple love into the grid. And every time you choose to walk through your own shadows instead of projecting them, you become more trustworthy to the divine. That's how you graduate from being protected to being a protector. You start holding the field for others. You become the hands that once caught you. So I ask you with reverence, what if your personal evolution is the exact medicine the world needs right now? And what if your greatest service isn't what you do, but the energy you become? But here's the paradox. As your light increases, so will the resistance. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're becoming more visible in the unseen realms. Your frequency becomes a beacon, and not everything in the spirit world wants light to rise. Some energies will try to confuse you, drain you, distract you. That's why protection must become active, not passive. You protect your light not by fearing darkness, but by staying deeply rooted in your truth. You clear your field. You speak your boundaries out loud. You claim your space. You invoke protection daily, not out of fear, but out of authority. Remember, You are not a guest in this realm. You are a sovereign soul. And your frequency, when grounded in love and clarity, is untouchable. So I ask you now, where are you still giving your power away to fear, drama, or external authority? And what would change if you fully claimed your energetic space as sacred, sovereign, and protected by design? Finally, we must speak of legacy. Because this path you're walking, it doesn't end with you. The protection you've received, the wisdom you've remembered, the frequency you've reclaimed, it's meant to be passed on. Not just through words, but through living example. Your children, your community, your future students, your readers, your friends, they will all be affected by the way you choose to embody your light. You become a living transmission. You walk into rooms and shift the energy without speaking. You laugh, and people feel safe. You cry, and people feel seen. You speak, and people remember. This is what happens when you fully step into your sacred frequency. You don't just change your life. You change the field. You leave behind a vibrational legacy that echoes through generations. So let me ask you one final question. What if your entire life has been preparing you to become the ancestor of the future, the one who broke the cycle, held the light, and left the frequency map for those still waking up?